Today we'll do 60 minutes flow, hamstrings. Okay, so you guys can start by coming in a wide seat. You don't have to overdo it. You don't have to come into a split. You can just come into a wide seat like this. If you have blocks, you can bring those and bring them in front of you. It might be easier. And make sure that your inseam of the leggings here starts to spin towards the ceiling. Okay, flexing into the feet. And then you'll just walk yourself forward as far as you can. And this is where the blocks can come in handy. So if you have a block, you can bring it underneath your forearms. And drop the head, drop the neck. And just start with a few deep breaths to settle, to breathe into every part of your being, maybe starting at the feet. Taking a long inhale to breathe down into the sole of your feet, into your ankles. Breathing deeply into the back of your legs. Making sure that we breathe all the way down to our pelvic floor, through the belly and down into our pelvis. Tracing the spine with your inhales. Radically accepting, radically experiencing. Meaning we are practicing to be experiencing the very state we're in, without judgment, without sensing into what could be different, how it once was, how it could be in the future. Taking a moment to set an intention for today's class, be it around a radical experience of your own self. Or something completely different. And then with the next inhale, you can walk your hands in towards yourself, come back up into a seated position. You can bring both arms high. Reach yourself long. With the inhale, reaching out into the fingertips. Because every inhale physically also moves our vertebrae apart. And with the exhale, we'll sink just a bit deeper into our seat, into the back of the body. So leaning a little bit more into your spine. And with the exhale, we'll bring the right arm inside the right leg, the left arm overhead. Again, you can bring that pillow or a block here on the inside. Keep the toes flexed, pointing to the sky. Just open the left side body here. So we're targeting this part. And of course, our hamstrings, but that's a side effect. The back of your legs are lifting into the top of your legs. Inhale, bring everything back up. Reach into the fingertips. Long, heavy in the seat bones. Exhale to the left side. Left arm inside, left leg. Good. Taking a time to arrive. I have just relocated to Kuwait and have made the mistake to not take the time to arrive and hit a wall after 24 hours here. No, 12, not even. So to give your body the time to settle in these poses, to find the depth. Good. And then inhale, bring everything back up. Good. Exhale, hands by your hips and close the legs. And we'll come into Dandasana, a seated pose or staff pose. So just an L shape in your body. You can move the flesh away from your seat bones a bit if it helps you. Good. Hands can come by your hips under the fingertips like so. And we'll lift the right leg just a few centimeters away from the floor. Keep the toes flexed. And then we'll shift that leg from the hip bone out. So you're moving from the hip bone out to the side. Only as far as your back can stay straight. Lift it back up and bring it back in. Again, right leg lifts. Shift it out. Bring it down. Softly. Inhale, lift. Bring it back. Really lift the back of the leg, the hamstrings, the calves into the top of the leg, the front. Bring it back out. And in. 2 more. Good. Keeping the chest rotating forward so it's not moving with the leg. And right leg closes. Left side. Lift the left leg. Bring it out. Maybe moving even also a bit slower makes the whole thing harder. Lifting up, shifting it out, bring it down. See if you can feel your femur moving in your hip socket as it shifts your leg out and transmits all this down into the foot. 3 more. Good. 2 more. And then the last one. Good stuff. Beautiful. Bring a little bend into the knees. The arms high. Let's reach high. Pull that vertebrae apart. Those vertebrae apart again. And with the exhale, we fold forward so our lower ribs can rest here. And we'll hug one arm, both arms, behind those legs. Good. Use the arms to draw yourself forward into this fold, flattening into the lower back. Maybe shifting the heels also a little bit further away. Good. And inhale, release. Bring your hands behind the hips. And both feet onto the mat. About hip width distance apart, not too close to your body. We'll lift into a reverse tabletop. So ground into the feet, then inhale, lift your hips up high. Adjust the stance of hands and feet if you need. So your feet are underneath your knees, hands are under the shoulders. Good. Again, here take a time to arrive, to pour yourself into the being of this tabletop, maybe rocking forth and back, finding that line of bones, connecting earth to your joints. Good. Lift the hips a bit higher. Exhale, we'll come halfway down. So let the hips sink halfway. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, sink. Inhale up. Exhale, sink. Inhale up. 2 more, sink. Inhale up. And the last one, really lift the hamstrings into the thighs. Lift the hips higher, stay. And release. Beautiful. Just crossing the shins in front of you and come onto the knees in all fours. Nice. Finding your tabletop position in the right way. So not reversed. You can shift weight right and left. Place knees underneath the hips. And find into a small cat and cow. Just for a few breaths to expand the front body. Exhale to cat and curls and that tailbone down, gaze to the navel. Inhale, head and tailbone point to the sky. Exhale, perceiving your head as part of the spine, integrating it into this undulation, rather than your head as a separate entity. That radical whole that you are. Good. And then find into a neutral pose. Good. The meaning we have just a slight little tilt in our pelvis, so our lower back flattens, our belly draws in, strong core lift into the hands, shoulder blades apart. And send that right leg back, tucking the toes. So you're like in a half plank. Good. And bring that right leg back in, tucking the left toes. Left leg gets long. Good. And then we'll switch. So right leg gets long, left knee bends. Hover the left knee if you can. And right knee bends, left leg gets long. Really lift into the back of that left leg. All your focus is there now. Shift, lift, shift, lift. Really kick that heel back. All the while floating gracefully above the floor. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come into plank fully. Good, lift high. And then we'll just let the hips rise. We come into first downward dog. Good. Take a moment also to settle, arrive. Creating that length, lifting thighs into the hamstring. Maybe a bend in the knees if you still need that. So your front body, lower back are long and wide. Good. And then we'll come back into a plank. So just shift everything forward, keeping the legs long. Hips sink down. Good. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, plank. Inhale, downward dog. Lift always into the hamstrings. Those are leading. Plank. Fingers are spread wide, digging the fingertips into the mat. Downward dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, plank. Good. Last downward dog. Nice. And from there you can look forward, bend into both knees. Step left foot, right foot forward for a halfway lift. So fingers are on your shins or the floor. Again, make the hamstrings the focus point here. So you want to lengthen, shifting those bones to the ceiling, lengthening the upper body. Exhale, fold. Just trace along the back of your legs, folding in. Your hands can be at the back of your heels. Bend into the knees. The first forward fold. My hamstrings are super tight from kiting, I think. So I have an issue of getting my legs straight here right now. Okay. And then let the hands trace the back of the legs. We'll come back up into half forward fold. Good. And then inhale everything up into standing. Pull yourself long. Send the tailbone down, so a small little tilt into the pelvis, like you want to come into a handstand. Look up. Good. And exhale, we'll fold back forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Trace the back of your legs with your hands. And inhale, come all the way up to standing. Nice. You can reach into the tippy toes, come balancing onto the tippy toes here. Send the tailbone down. Good. And from tippy toes, we'll come into a chair pose. If it's too hard, you can bring the heels down, just sinking those hips down. Stay floating with the heels for 3, 2, 1. Bring the heels down. Sink a bit lower into that chair pose. Inhale, lift out, like mini squats. Exhale, sink lower. Inhale, lift. If the arms are getting too heavy, you can bring the hands to heart. Draw the knees in towards each other. Small lifts. Good. Work from your hamstrings here. Good. And then stay low. Exhale, forward fold. Good. You can bring the hands to the back of the heels again to draw yourself deeper. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins. Exhale, plant the hands, step right foot, left foot back into a high plank. Good. From here, we'll come onto a forearm plank. Bring the forearms down like you want to come into forearm stand, or you can also bring the hands together into Anjali Mudra if that helps you. Good. And we'll dip right hips to the floor. So just tilting a little twist into your body. The upper body stays straight. Left hip comes down. Inhale, back up. Exhale, tilting right hip down. Upper body stays straight. Left hip down. Good. And bring the hips all the way down. Open the hands for a Sphinx pose. Pulling yourself through the arms forward. Exhale, release. Tuck the hands right and left of the chest. Tuck the toes. Pushing back up, downward dog. Good. Let that right foot float and bring it into three-legged downward dog. Leading with the heel, right foot can stay flexed. Internal rotation. And then we'll do 5 pulsations with that right leg. So lifting a bit higher, release. Lifting higher, release. Leading from the hamstrings, feel that hamstring muscle lifting up into the sky. 4 and 5. Good. Lift the left tippy toes, the right knee comes to the nose. And step the foot next to the right thumb. Good. We'll come into a high lunge. Bring the hips down first. Look forward, runner's lunge. And from there, we'll come up high. Arms up, over the head. Good. Exhale, hands to Anjali Mudra. Good. We'll do 5 pulsations in the left knee. So bring the left knee to the floor. Inhale, lift the hamstring back to the ceiling. Left knee comes down. Inhale, lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Exhale, frame the front foot. Step the right foot to the left. Nice. And come onto our forearm plank. 1 dip each side. Left hip down. Keep the legs long. Kick the heels back. Right hip down. Good. Release the hands. Bring the hips down for Sphinx pose. Opening that front body, relax the legs, they're heavy. Exhale everything down. Tuck the hands, tuck the toes, lift up, downward dog. Good. Lead with the left foot this time, left heel to the sky, flexing the left foot. Little pinky toe points to the mat. And 5 pulsations here. Long leg, kick it high. Hips stay parallel, so don't lift higher than the hips can stay. 4, 5. And lift, exhale, tippy toe, right foot, left knee comes to the nose. And step the foot through. Good. Runner's lunge, hips sink down, look forward, prepare. From the bottom of your pelvic floor, lift up high, arms over the head. Good. Exhale, hands to heart, Anjali Mudra. Good. 5 pulsations on the right side. 5. The knee never really touches the floor, ideally. Good. 4. And 5. Good. Hands frame the front foot. Step the right foot to the left. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, or if they can be on the floor, of course. But make sure that those back of the legs can stay long. Exhale, fold, hands to the heels. Good. From here, keep the hands on the heels and sink the hips low. So we're coming into this baby squat. Inhale, lengthen back out. Exhale, sink the hips low. Only as high as you can keep the hands where they are. Lift into the back of the legs here. 3 more. Good. And then stay low with the hips. Release the hands, bring them over the head. Chair pose. Good. And from here, we'll lengthen out, come straight onto the tippy toes. Reach fingers to the ceiling. If you can even look up, keeping the balance. Exhale, Tadasana, hands point forward. Good. We'll do the same thing again, a bit faster, and we'll add some poses, okay? Inhale, arms high, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands can trace along the back of the legs. Good. And exhale, sit the hips down, arms overhead, chair pose. Draw the navel in, front ribs draw together. Exhale, fold. Step right foot back, far back. Good. Hips come down. No, sorry. Left foot also steps back. Good. Bring the forearms down. Left hip dips. And right hip dips. Good. Bring the hips all the way down. Open up the arms for Sphinx pose. Exhale everything down, tuck the hands. And watch out here, tuck the toes. We'll lift up into upward dog. So just lengthen the arms out, tucking the toes. And since the toes are already there, we can just shift the hips up. Keep the legs long if you can, downward dog. Good. Inhale, right leg lifts, right heel to the ceiling. Exhale, right knee comes to the nose. Step the foot through, sink the hips down. Inhale, come up. 3 pulsations here only, with the left knee to the floor. 3, 2, 1. Good. And from here, bring the arms high, and then we draw a big circle. Open them, arms up, bring them behind the back to interlace them here. Good. Lift the chest forward and through, draw the lower ribs in, and we'll lengthen the right front leg out. The left heel can shift in gently, so we can now fold halfway forward in a pyramid shape. So both hips are pointing to the front. Arms are interlaced. Good. And exhale, we'll fold as far as you can fold. Hands come to the sky. Pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. Really lift into the back of the legs. Lift the kneecaps towards the hips, especially in the front leg. Good. And from here, we'll open the arms up, bring them up high, and we'll come straight into a Skandasana. So bring the left foot out to the side. We'll bend and come down. Good. I changed sides so you guys can see me. Nice. Good. Find some depth. Lengthen into the back of this hamstring here on your right leg. And from here, we'll float straight into a warrior three. So bend into the front leg. Reach the arms forward. Let the right leg float up. Both hip bones pointing to the floor. Good. You can bring the hands to the heart to make it easier. Or you can open the arms out to the side if that helps you to balance. Kick the left heel into the sky. Good. And then from here, we'll come into standing, but don't touch the left foot down. Bring the left knee into the nose, hugging it into the chest. And then we'll grab the left foot with the right hand outside and lengthen it forward. The left arm can reach back, twisting, kicking that hamstring forward and down to the floor. Good. Lengthen into the back. Good. And twist back forward, let go of that front leg, hands to heart. And we'll swing the leg back to step it back into our high lunge. Good. Very nice. Bring the left knee down. And we'll shift the hips back. Hands can frame the front foot for Ardha Hanuman. Good. If you have blocks, you can bring those here. Keep a halfway lift in the upper body to arrive in the pose. Adjust accordingly. So if you need to move the right foot forward, so your hips can be parallel and above the left knee. Good. Flex that right foot. Good. Grab the outside of the right foot with the left hand. Open the right arm up to the sky, twisting here. I know it's a lot of balance. The back foot can be tucked or flat, depending on what helps you to balance. Good. Really sink the right hip down, that helps. Push it down towards the floor. Nice. And release. Bring a bend back into the front knee. And step the right foot to meet the left. Good. Send the weight forward, come onto the forearms. Hip dips, one on the right, one on the left. Nice. And exhale, hips down. Open the arms for Sphinx. Good. Exhale, we coil the back. Look into the navel and round everything away from the floor. Inhale, Sphinx pose. Draw the chest through. Exhale, round, coil. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, round, coil. Maybe lift the hips away from the floor. Knees are down, hips are lifting. Inhale, look forward. Exhale all the way down to the floor. Prepare for upward dog. So tucking the toes, hands are a bit past the chest, elbows high. Inhale, lift the chest up and hips up. Good. We'll stay here for 3 breaths. the arms are long and strong. Eye of the elbow points forward. So give those arms an external rotation. And exhale, push it back into downward dog. Good. Left leg rises. Bring the left heel high. Good. Exhale, tippy toe, right foot, left knee comes to the nose. Step it through, runner's lunge. Inhale up, high lunge. Exhale, hands to heart. 5 pulsations, or 3, on the right knee. Just hovering it, moving from the hamstring. Only the right leg is moving. Good. Last one. Good. And then arms up high again. Exhale, interlace the hands behind the back. Chest comes forward. Good. And exhale, lengthen the front leg. Right heel comes down. Good. Adjust so both hip bones are pointing forward. So bringing that right hip forward. Exhale, halfway fold. Keep an actively integrated front body. So drawing navel in, lower ribs in. And exhale, fold all the way. Good. Let the arms come high and heavy over the head. So they want to come to the front of the mat. Drawing you maybe a bit deeper, pull the kneecaps towards the hips. And inhale, release, arms come high. And exhale, we come straight into Skandasana, right side. Right knee bends. Good. Good. And then from here, we'll float into Warrior 3. So from the pelvic floor, lift high, bring a bend into the front knee, send the arms forward, and the right leg floats away. Hands can come to the heart, or reach them forward. Good. Lift that right heel high. Nice. And then inhale, bring the right knee into the nose, into the chest. So we can grab the right foot outside with the left hand and send that leg forward, right arm back. Good. If there's a bend in the knee, that's fine. Don't worry. Just work into the back of that leg. This is a functional pose. It doesn't have to be straight, that leg, to get you where you need to be. Good. And release the twist, come back forward, release the leg, hands to heart. And we'll float this right leg back into our high lunge, slowly moving the right toe down. Arms high. Exhale, bring the right knee down. And we'll shift the hips back for Ardha Hanuman, half forward fold. Blocks, if you have them, are helpful. Adjust the front foot. Good. Very nice. Make sure your hips don't slide off to the right side. And we'll bring the right hand outside the left foot. Left arm reaches back and twist. Keep that left hip shifting back and down, pushing into the left heel. Good. Everything is pulled long. Left leg, upper body, arms, spine. And exhale, release. Bring a bend back into the front knee. And we'll step the right foot to meet the left. Good. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana, hands to the back of the heels. Good. We'll sink the hips down, look forward, little bit of a squat here. See how far you can go. Inhale, back up. Doesn't have to come all the way to the floor, your hips just as far as you can keep your hands glued there. Inhale, lift back into the hamstrings, folding. Exhale, down. Good. Inhale, lift the last one. And exhale, down. Stay low, arms come high. Good. Chair pose. Lift onto the tippy toes in your chair pose. And from there we'll come to standing. Stay on the tippy toes, reach into the fingertips. Maybe look up. Good. And exhale, Tadasana. Point the palms forward. Let everything settle and arrive. Good. Very good, nice. Heel toe the feet apart. And we'll bring the arms up high. Exhale, fold forward. Uttanasana. And here see whether you can walk the hands in line with the feet. Or maybe even behind the feet. Grabbing a hold of your heels like this. You can need to bend into the knees here for this to happen. And once you're there, lengthen more into the back of the legs, lifting the seat bones up high again. Good. Nice. And release, come into a half forward fold. Look forward. Good. And exhale, sit the hips down. Bring the buttocks to the floor. Good. And from here, we'll bring the right leg back. We'll come into a half heron pose. So make sure that you can sit comfortably here. If you need an elevation underneath your hips, you can do that. Maybe move the flesh of your calf here out of the way. Good. I haven't done this pose myself in a while, so let's see how this goes. Good. Let's grab the foot with both hands here, the left foot. And from there, we'll lift it forward. Keep a bend in the knee for now, and then you can start to lengthen it up and forward. Lift your chest towards the left knee. Good. Keeping the back long. Good stuff. Yes, use a strap. Sorry, if you have a strap, amazing. I should be working more with props. Online classes are very difficult like that. Lift your chest through. Make use of your props if you do have them. They're an amazing tool. Lift into the back of the legs. Move this knee towards your hips to avoid hyperextension. Good. And exhale, let that leg go. Float it down to the floor. And we'll fold forward from here, keeping that right knee bent and folding as far as we can. Without pushing, without straining. Good. Nice. And inhale, come back up. Back up to seated. From here, we'll frame both knees with the hands here so we can lift the hips up. We'll come straight into our half splits, Ardha Hanuman. Good. Bring your right hand back to the left foot. We'll do the twist again. Left arm reaches back. And from there, release the right hand and float it up. Twist forward, hands can come to heart. And from here, we'll see if we can lift the left foot away from the floor. Just a bit. I know it's a lot of balance, a lot of focus. I know. It's just to get you out of this taking shape thing. And bring that left foot back down. Good. Very nice. Bring the left knee to the right. Good. And from there, we'll come into the opposite side. So sit down onto the heels. Bring the right leg forward. Moving the left calf out of the way. Good. Find the seat, heavy in the seat bones. Bend into the right knee. Grab a hold of the right foot here. By now your hamstrings should be warm. This should be more attainable. Starting to lift the right heel away and lengthen it out and forward. Keep that sternum moving forward. And a radical acceptance of where you're at. Radically embracing your body, your being the way it is, just in this very moment. Kick the right foot forward. Good. And then slowly release the foot, float it down to the floor. Nice. And then we'll fold. Keep that left leg close. So we'll walk forward, long back, flat back. Maybe bend into the right knee, okay? This doesn't have to be fully straight. We want to fold from the hips, so it's like a tilt forward rather than a rounding in the lower back. Good. And inhale, unwind, walk yourself back up. Good, we're framing both knees with the hands so we can lift up into our Ardha Hanuman. Maybe you need to adjust the stance a bit if you have long legs, especially, or just the proportions are off for the arrival in this pose. Good. Halfway lift, hands on blocks, possibly. And then we'll reach the left hand to the outside edge of the right foot. Flex the right foot. And right hand lifts up and back, twisting. Draw the navel in. Lift from the core. So the left hand has little to no weight. Yes, good stuff. And from here, we'll lift up the upper body, bring both hands to heart. And then see if we can float this right foot away from the floor. Good. You can tuck the back foot if that helps you. Apparently helps me. Nice. One more try. Lift that right leg strong and flexed away from the floor. Nice. Bring it back. Bring the right knee to join the left. Good. Very nice. Arms long. Exhale, we'll find a tiny little back bend. Don't have to go into full camel here. We just find a little back bend. You can also bring the hands to heart if the arms over the head are too much. Lifting chest forward, hips forward. Good. And exhale, release. Bring the hands down, tuck the toes, and we'll lift the hips back up into a downward dog. Good. Look forward between the hands. Bend the knees. Step or hop to land between the hands. Good. Inhale for a halfway lift. You can trace along the back of the legs. And exhale, fold. Uttanasana. Bend the knees. We'll stay right low. Inhale, arms high, chair pose. Good. Tippy toes. And from there we'll come up, standing. Good. Exhale, fold forward. Step right foot back, left foot back. High plank. We'll skip the vinyasa and we'll shift the hips straight up to the sky. Good. Bring the right leg high. Internal rotation of the leg. Exhale, right knee to nose. Step the foot next to the right hand. Hips lower. Inhale, arms high. Good. Exhale, interlace the hand behind the back. Lengthen the front leg. Left foot pivots in. And half forward fold. Good. Lift the arms high. Fold from the hips, sending the top of the head forward, and fold all the way. Good. Big transition. Open the arms, windmill them up, bend into the back knee, twisting the left foot out, Skandasana. Good. Pull the right knee towards your hips, flex the right foot, and from there we'll transition into our Warrior 3. Arms forward, float the left foot high. Hands to heart or forward. Find length along the back body, left heel to head. And then left knee comes into the nose. Grab the right foot right away with the left hand if you can. And send that left foot forward. Twisting back, look back to the left hand or out to the side. Shift the hips, left hips down. Unwind. And from here, we'll come into a standing splits. So shift the leg past the right, fold forward, let the left hip come high, left leg come high, folding. Hands come to the floor. Good. And then we'll float the left foot back, slow motion to land in our low lunge. Left foot down, left knee down. And we'll shift the hips back, Ardha Hanuman. You can bring both hands inside the front foot and really walk yourself far forward, lifting the chest up, but shifting that right hip back. So you need enough space between the 2 feet for the hips to square off. Good. Shoulders away from the ears. Nice. And inhale back, bend back into the front knee. Step the right knee to the left. Good. And then we'll come all the way down to the floor. Forearms forward, Sphinx pose. Exhale, curl and round. Lift the hips away from the floor. Shoulders apart, shoulder blades move apart. Nice C curve in your back. And release. Everything down to the floor. Tuck the hands right and left, tuck the toes. And we'll come into upward dog. Chest comes first. Lengthen the arms, float away. Good. External rotation of those arms. Send the biceps forward. And then keeping the legs long, see if you can just shift the hips up into a downward dog. Good. Second side. Left leg floats high. Exhale, tippy toe, right, left knee to nose. Step it through. Good. Sink the hips, inhale up, high lunge. Exhale, hands interlace, the odd way around. So bring the other pinky finger on top. Chest forward. Exhale, lengthen front leg, right heel pivots in. Good. Squaring the hips, fold half the way. Good. Head is an extension of your spine, is part of your spine. Fold all the way. So where the spine is going, your head is going. Arms high over the head towards the front of the mat. Open that shoulder girdle. And then we'll come into a big transition. Release the arms, windmill them up and around. Right foot opens, down. Skandasana. It's only like we're crouching, getting momentum to then float into our warrior three. Arms forward, right foot floats away. Good. Amazing. Lower belly pulls in towards the spine. Right thigh pulls towards the right hamstring. And then we'll bring the right knee into the nose, to the chest. Hug it in. Left hand grabs the right foot. Send everything forward. Good. And untwist. Release the foot. We'll float it into a standing split slowly. Right foot past, like a big clock. Folding forward, hands to the floor, right leg high. Good. Top of the head melts towards the floor. You can, of course, balance one hand away, maybe both. And from there, float it back into our low lunge. Coming up with the upper body, floating the right foot back. Right knee down. Good. Low lunge. From here, we'll shift into Ardha Hanuman. Bring both hands inside the front foot. Good. Back foot tucked or flat, up to you. And then walk the hands forward. Good. Keep the hips square. And bend back into the front knee. Pull yourself forward on those hands. The left knee joins the right. Just step it back. Nice. And we'll come into Anahatasana. So bring the hands wide to the corners of the mat, melting the chest forward and down. Good. Giving the body the time to melt into this shape. And then slowly release, walk the hands back in, coil the back into a cat pose, gaze into the navel. Nice, and find a neutral pose. Good. Bring the left knee into the middle of the mat. The right knee comes behind the left. And bring the shins apart. We'll walk back into a shoelace. Good. If this is not feasible for you, there's options, which is perfectly fine because our legs are shaped differently. You can lengthen the bottom leg out. So you can stack the left knee on top of the right like this. Alternative is to come into Agni Stambhasana, bringing the shins on top of each other. So this is not a cross-legged seat. The shins are really parallel in front of you. Good. Choose your poison. And from here, we'll walk the hands forward to bring a nice elongation into the glutes. Good. Beautiful. Drop the neck. Over time, melting into this pose, coming over resistance. And inhale, unwind, walk yourself back. Good. And we'll come back into our all fours. So come forward from wherever you are. And bring the right knee inside the mat. Left knee comes behind. Crossing, bring the shins apart. This should stack your knees perfectly. And you can then walk back, sit between the shins. Again, you can choose the same variation you've done on the other side. So stacking the shins or bringing one leg out, the bottom leg out, forward. And from there, we'll walk the hands forward. Good. And inhale, lift, walk the hands back. And then you can just unwind the legs, bring them forward, bring a bend into the knees. And we'll bring the hands underneath the knees, or you can reach them forward and just like this, coil round the back. Back to the mat. Good. From here, we'll come into a simple twist. So you can bring the right leg long, bring the left knee into the chest, and just guide the left knee across the body over to the right. If you want one last stretch, lengthening into the back of the leg, you can lengthen that left leg out, grab a hold of the left foot with the right arm, right hand, and open out to the left side. Good. And release. Come back into the middle, second side. Left leg gets long. Right knee in. And then guide it across. Sinking deep into the stretch. Again, you can lengthen the right leg out if that feels nice on your leg. I have no room. And then you can unwind, come back out. And if there's a last shape you want to take, please do happy baby, inversion, anything that will help you to access Shavasana. Or you can come straight into final resting pose. Good. Bringing your right hand to the navel if you're already in resting pose. Bring the left hand on top. And follow the spiraling out from your navel into all 6 limbs. If you wish to stay longer in Shavasana, please do. If you are feeling ready to awaken, let small movements in your body start to ripple out. Come to a seated pose in your own time. Good. Bring your hands to your heart in Anjali Mudra. Speak your own grace and gratitude for these teachings of yoga we get to share. Breathe deeply into your belly. Exhale through the mouth. Everything you need to surrender. Bring your hands to your forehead and bow for peace. Lokha samasta sukhino bhavantu om shanti shanti shanti. May there be peace, peace, peace. Chaima, namaste. Thank you, girls, so much.